God is powerful. In the scriptures, we can read about lots of times when God used his power to help and protect his people. Like when God protected Noah and his family. The whole earth was going to be flooded. God told Noah to gather animals and build an ark, and they were saved from the flood. God also used his power to protect Daniel when he was thrown into the lion's den. The king made a new law that said no one could pray to God. But Daniel still prayed to God. When Daniel got caught praying, the king threw Daniel in the lion's den to get eaten by the lions. But God used his power to close the lions' mouths, and the lions didn't hurt Daniel. In the morning, when the king found out that Daniel was still alive, the king started believing in God, and he told all of his kingdom to believe in God. God sent Samuel the Lamanite to go to Zarahemla and tell the people to repent and be baptized. Samuel had to climb on the wall to teach them because they wouldn't let him in the city. Some of them got mad, and they tried to hit him with rocks and arrows. But God's power protected Samuel so that none of the rocks or arrows could hit him. When the people saw this miracle, some of them believed him and decided to be baptized. God also used his power to help the Jaredites cross the ocean. He told them to build barges that were tight like a dish, so they wouldn't let any water inside. And then he made the winds and the waves push them the right way, all the way across the ocean to the promised land. God used his power to help Lehi and his family too. He warned Lehi to leave Jerusalem before it was destroyed. And then he gave Lehi the Liahona so he would know which way to go. With God's power, Lehi was able to find the right way to the promised land. Did you know there is something that's the same in all of these stories? In all of these stories, God's people were serving God and were willing to trust God. When Noah built the ark, he was serving God and doing what God asked him to do. Noah and his family had to trust God when they got on the ark. When Daniel got in trouble for praying, he was serving God and doing what God asked him to do. And he had to trust God when he was thrown inside the lion's den with all of the lions. When Samuel got on the wall of the city to tell the people to repent, he was serving God and doing what God asked him to do. And he had to trust God to keep teaching, even when they threw rocks and shot arrows at him. When the Jaredites were crossing the ocean, they were serving God and doing what God asked them to do. And they had to trust God when they got inside the barges and went across the ocean. When Lehi found the Liahona, he was serving God and doing what God asked him to do. And he had to trust God to leave his home and go on a long journey to a new place he'd never seen before. So, what about you? Do you trust God? And can you think of the things that God has asked us to do? We can learn about those things in the scriptures. And if we turn our hearts to God and trust him, he can use his power to help us too.